So like, before I found fitness,
Mm-hmm.
what was different about your life versus now? You know what? How about this? Do you remember the first time you went to the gym and it really actually worked out?
I remember the first time I went with my trainer and I felt connected. But I'm not training with him anymore, but that was like a catalyst moment for me because I felt like my life was going to change at that point. So I think before I went into fitness, I never really understood fitness. I just would, diet and think that, okay, I can get skinny in the summer if I just don't eat. But the father of my kids actually, like after my second child, I was like super big. I think I was like 253 pounds. And dang, that sounds like a lot, right? That sounds like a big ass number. And I was kind of struggling and I felt him, deviating from the relationship in a sense of like not really being attracted to me anymore. But then that's because I wasn't really myself. And I wanted to like work out, but because I was a mom, I didn't really want to invest into myself like that. And then this was around COVID. I met this guy in my building who just started his fitness business. And the father of my kids was like, nah, we're going to find the money for this. Because, I think he was like, we got to lose this weight. You're doing too much. Like, you're too big. He didn't say it, but I felt the energy. And I went to one session with him, and it was like, you know how you walk into a room and it's like, I felt, I don't know, I felt like I went into a space where I was not comfortable. I remember what I was wearing, I was looking crazy because I just wasn't comfortable in my skin anymore. And when I started working out with him, it was like I felt like he wasn't judging me. I felt like he almost felt, I don't want to use the word sorry for me, but he felt compassion for me, right? As a woman, as a mother, and he wanted to kind of support me in my journey. And he was very affordable, at the time. And I took that challenge with him, and I knew I was going to change my life from how he supported me, how he, was patient with me, how he like talked to me about fitness, not from a point of like, oh, we're going to give you this routine and you're going to get fit, but it was like a mental and emotional thing. He would encourage me. He would talk to me about, just what I was going through. So it was almost like a therapy session. And it really made me understand fitness in that community. And the more I started to go, the more I realized that everybody had their own stories. Everybody had their own struggles. Everybody started from this place. Everybody was big or small and wanted to change. And we were all kind of like facing the same battles. So when I went into working out with him, I think that's where I really started to understand like building confidence through fitness. Like building the habit of not just going to the gym or trying to diet. It was like, this is a lifestyle. You know what I mean? This is a change that you're gonna have to make, not from to get to this dress size in the summer, but to actually change your life and then put that and be a different person. So it really changed who I was. It really just made me look at myself different. It made me push myself. And I remember going to the gym on a Saturday by myself, like on a Friday night by myself, and everybody's out having fun and partying and drinking, and I'm like in the gym, and really just became like a spiritual moment for me, just really focusing on building my body. And before I knew it, once I started to lock in, once I started to understand, different aspects of it, because it wasn't just, oh, you're gonna work out. It was like, oh, you're gonna work out, but you also have to understand how to eat. And once I started to kind of like see the results, it was like I was changed. I became whole. And I was also going through a separation at the time. So I felt like having that outlet to kind of work on myself quietly, while the world was going crazy or, comparing themselves to other people, I was just like, no, this is my time. And I don't need to know what's gonna happen in 3-4 months. It's just about the feeling. So yeah, I was able to kind of like really hone into it, and I fell in love with it. And once I kept going, I started to see the results. I realized that other people was inspired by my journey. Other people, looked at me like, how did she do that? Like, how did you lose so much weight? But I didn't look at myself like I was losing weight. I just liked the feeling, and I like the community. I like the understanding that people that are focused on fitness, you're different. You're not just doing it because you want to look a certain way. You're doing it because it's an internal battle. You're pushing yourself through whatever you're going through. You know what I mean? And that's what I noticed with a lot of people that work out like intensely. So I became like an intense workout junkie, working out 5 or 6 days a week. Really focus on learning different mechanics, like learning different workouts that work for my body, you know, doing things that feel good, and really building the community that way. And then I think when you start going to the gym, or you start going to a place where people are working out and have the same goals as you start to recognize each other. You know, like now I feel like when I go, it's like they're expecting me. Like they're expecting me and I'm expecting them. So they don't see me and I don't see them. Even though, you know, we don't plan to come at the same time. We just so happen to come the same time every time. If I'm not there, they're gonna know. They're gonna be like, what happened to her? Like, what happened to you? Like, I remember I had stopped going to the gym. And it's the thing with the fitness too, it's like, it's a journey. Because sometimes you go, you're really into it, and then sometimes life hits you, and then you're like, fuck, I'm gonna do it, you know? And it's like, and you realize that you get sidetracked from the gym, and then when you go back, it's like, where have you been? Like, I have stopped going like around November, and then I have for like a month, and then I started going back, and then everybody was like, yo, like, where have you been? Like, it's been like 2 months. You getting back on track, you know? So it really becomes like a community, and you start to feel happy about yourself. You start to feel confident. Like, you have friends, even though they're not really friends because you don't know nothing about them. You don't even know their name half the time. But yeah, I think that really helped me build my confidence. And then the fact that I noticed that I was helping other women. I noticed other people were looking at my journey, and then they would get into their own journey. Even though they didn't say it, I peeped y'all though. You know, I peeped y'all getting back in the gym, but I felt like this was my purpose. You know, the more I focus on myself, the more I build myself, the stronger that I got mentally, the more I'm able to help other women. So yeah, that was a big journey for me, and I love it, and I'm still into it, and I'm still going, and I think it's a journey for me that I feel like it's never ending. Not because I'm trying to reach a certain goal, but because my purpose is to help other women and get there. So until I've helped every single woman on this earth, I'm not done. I'm not done at all.